Hi friend, and welcome back to the channel. So in this video, I'm going to be telling you the differences between the clinical jobs and non-clinical healthcare jobs. And look, the whole point I'm doing this is so that by the end of this video, you're going to be start thinking, yes, I'm definitely for the clinical jobs, or I'm definitely for the non-clinical jobs, because I'm going to give you points about pay, career prospects, opportunities, what's the work-life balance like, which one is more flexible, what can you expect, can you work from home? And then at the end, my intention and my objective is that you are able to make a more informed decision as to which of these positions you actually want to go into. If you're already in healthcare, obviously, look, there's always time to change. If you're thinking, no, I'm non-clinical, I want to get into a clinical position, that's still fine. If you're currently clinical and you're like, hey, I want to get into the non-clinical side, again, that's absolutely fine. But by the end of this video, you're going to be sat there thinking, oh my God, Melvis, now you've made this point. Why is it that I didn't ever think about this? Yes, I'm definitely for the non-clinical jobs, or I'm definitely for the clinical job. And by the way, if you haven't checked out the other videos on the channel, or if you're new, you're welcome to the channel. If you're a returning subscriber, my heart goes out to you. It's always a pleasure to have you watch these videos. Again, hit subscribe right now, turn on that notification button, because you want to be the first to be notified when I drop a video on here every single day. Yes, I drop a video here every day at 8 a.m. prompt. So if you're here at 8 o'clock, you're going to watch those videos, and make sure that you're sharing this with your, mates, with your colleagues, with your family, with your loved ones, because my intention is that we are all making those informed decisions. We're all thriving and striving for the best in our careers, whether you're in healthcare or not. It really doesn't matter, but these are just opportunities for you to think about, for you to reflect on. So let's get started. When we talk about clinical jobs and non-clinical jobs, what exactly do we actually mean? In fact, what is a clinical job? What is a non-clinical job? So clinical job basically means that these are jobs that you're working in healthcare, whether you're working in a nursing home, in a residential home, in a hospital, in a health center, it doesn't matter, but you're caring directly for patients, which means you're supporting patients, maybe to give medications, to examine them, to assess them, and so when we talk about clinical roles, we're mainly thinking about roles like, if you're a carer, that's a clinical role. You're a nurse, it's a clinical role. If you are a doctor, for example, those are clinical roles. What about the non-clinical roles? So when we're talking about non-clinical roles, we're thinking about, the admin side, that's non-clinical, because those people, they're not supporting patients directly, they're doing so indirectly through the admin work that they're doing. We're talking about the finance team, we're talking about IT. Those are all healthcare jobs, for example, that are non-clinical, but they still work in healthcare. So those are the non-clinical jobs, just so that we set this straight before we get started into the body and the substance of which one you should be going for. And by the way, I want you to leave a comment below saying, Melvis, I will implement. Or if you're already in healthcare, what job do you do? Leave a comment below so that we know who is watching these videos. Is it a clinical people or non-clinical? If you're not in any of these sectors and you're still considering joining, again, leave a comment to say which one you're leaning towards. What do you prefer? What is your plan right now? And is it going to change by the end of this video once you found out more information about what each one entails? So the first thing let's talk about, so we've talked about the roles. Obviously, the differences between the two roles. Hey, and by the way, before I continue, my name is Melvis. I work for the NHS as an advanced nurse practitioner. So yes, I'm a clinical staff myself because I work as an advanced nurse practitioner, and I also have a private career coaching service where I support nurses, carers, student nurses with career progression in the UK. And I also support people that are looking for those clinical, non-clinical healthcare jobs, in the UK, just so they can get your foot in, whether you're looking for visa sponsorship or you're already in the UK, just wanting a change, then I'm your girl. Make sure you contact me, check out my private coaching program, because I'm going to support you through that journey. If you're a carer, for example, you're like, oh my God, what else can I do? Is this the end of me? What else is there? Contact me, join the program, and I'll be able to support you through that journey. If you're a qualified nurse, and you're thinking, oh my goodness, I want to specialize. What can I specialize in? What is even available in the UK? What are the different pathways? How do I become a nurse anesthetist? How do I become an occupational health nurse? How do I become a research nurse? How do I become a diabetes nurse? Then look, I'm your girl. If you have an interview, you need your CV looking at, again, you need to check out my private coaching program, because I'll support you with all of that. So we're going to talk about, the pay. Pay is a very important factor, because I know that you're going to be sat there thinking, can we just get to the pay? So yes, I want to talk about that first, so that at least you're at peace and that has been sorted. So when you talk about pay, yes, so the clinical jobs, they are the lower paid healthcare jobs. Oh yes, clinical jobs, they don't pay much at all. But when you look at the non-clinical jobs, those ones are going to pay more. Do I think it's fair? Is it not fair? Well, is life itself fair? But it is what it is. Everybody's got their own role in healthcare, but reality be told, clinical healthcare jobs are very underpaid, and that is the reason why currently in the UK they're very short-staffed of carers. They're recruiting carers from overseas desperately because there's no staff in this country. People are leaving the profession, and then when you look at nursing as well, it's the same thing. Many nurses are leaving because the pay is so bad. When you look at doctors, many doctors are leaving. They're going overseas as well, going to other countries, because they're all broke, even though they're doctors and they've studied so hard. So it's not the best. But when you look at the non-clinical jobs, you look at the IT, you look at finance, you look at estates, look, the amount of money that they're earning, for you to be clinical and earn that amount of money, you need to work for so many years. And the reality of it is that many of the clinical staff are never even going to develop in their careers to be able to earn the amount of money that many of the non-clinical staff earn, even from day one. IT, for example, there are IT positions within healthcare in the UK that don't require any degree. But guess what? You can earn from 40,000, 50,000 pounds per year without any degree at all. You see what I mean? But if you're a nurse, you need to be band 7 before you can earn 40,000 pounds. And before you get to band 7, do you know how many years you're going to work as a nurse? So that's what I'm saying. So the clinical jobs are paying less than the non-clinical jobs. So in terms of pay, look, if you're a carer, being a carer is the least paid clinical job in healthcare in the UK. And so there is no surprise to me that they don't have carers in this country, or that carers are just like, oh my God, I don't want to do the job. So that's why I'm saying that if you're a carer, you need to get in contact with me. If you want to progress, you want to do other things, you want to explore other opportunities, and I can also help you. If you're thinking of starting a side hustle, side business, whether it's healthcare related or not, look, I can support you with that. We can explore the different opportunities. What are you interested in? What have you done? What's your experience? What's your knowledge? What's your background? We can look into all of that and come up with the best solution for you. And yes, in my coaching program, I've got a business section. Some of the people in there that are only focusing on business, and there's other people who are just there for the career progression. So you want to make sure that you're checking it out, because look, the earlier you get started, the better. Because if you start a business right now and you earn X amount, isn't it worth it for you? And if you can then have that opportunity to just be yourself, do your own thing by yourself, again, isn't that good for you? Of course it is. And this leads us beautifully to the next, to the next thing, working from home. So the first one was pay. Second is working from home. So if you are in healthcare, whether you're clinical or non-clinical, can you work from home? I'm going to give an example during COVID-19. And by the way, if you're still watching till now and you haven't subscribed, do hit that subscribe button. Turn on the notification button, because you want to be the first to be notified when I drop a new video. Leave a comment below saying, Melvis, I will implement, because all this talk without implementation is nothing. So please leave a comment saying, Melvis, I will implement. Thank you for that. So the second one is the ability to work from home. Look, as a nurse, I didn't ever think about the importance of working from home until COVID-19 hit hard. And look, during COVID, what happened? All the non-clinical staff were evacuated from hospitals. It was like, oh my goodness, it's COVID, you need to leave. And all of them were working from home. But who was left in the hospital? Us, the clinical staff. The nurses, the carers, the doctors, we were the ones in the hospital. Everyone else was working from home because they were worried about catching COVID. They were worried about infection. They were worried about this, worried about that. But the thing is, what about us? How many nurses died from COVID? How many carers died from COVID? How many doctors died from COVID? And that's the end. They're gone, forgotten, and it's so painful thinking about it now. But that was when I thought to myself, this nursing is not easy. So again, if there is any convenience with working from home, non-clinical jobs are the best. Because I have friends, for example, who work for the NHS, non-clinical positions. Some of them have a baby and they're like, oh, you can just work from home. Of course, that's absolutely fine. What a convenience. It is so convenient. But if you're clinical, you cannot do that. Apart from the fact that you're going to be low paid, you also cannot work from home. You have to be going to work, whether there's an earthquake, there's a tsunami, there is anything going on, you have to be in there. So that's the second point, work from home opportunity. Till now, since COVID, well, COVID hasn't really gone, but since COVID kind of improved, many of the non-clinical people are still working from home. And they have said that, in fact, they don't want to return to work offices. They're struggling with parking. So again, that's a huge advantage. If you're non-clinical, you can work from anywhere in the world. But if you're clinical, look, you need to come into work, and that's the situation. So you can think about it yourself. Then working hours. If you're non-clinical, they generally work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. They're off every weekend, off bank holidays. They don't do night shifts and all of these. But clinical, you're going to be working 24/7. If it's Christmas, if it's your birthday, if it's your child's birthday, you're going to be at work. Yes, you'll be at work every day, 24/7. If your children are off on holidays, and this is again something that when I look at the non-clinical staff, I'm like, oh my God, they're so lucky. Because some of them take time off during school holidays so that they're home with their children. But those of us that are clinical, have you tried to tell your manager that your children are off from school now? Can you have holidays off during the school, during holidays? They're going to be like, well, Melvis, when you signed up to this job, you should have known that in healthcare, it's 24/7 care, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, thank you very much. So again, that's the third point. So you can see the points, non-clinical jobs are having more points than the clinical. But obviously, you still have people like myself. I'm a nurse. I'm dedicated. I totally enjoy nursing. I love the job that I do. I like the role that I'm into. And so that keeps me motivated to stay in nursing. So if you're a nurse, if you're a clinical position, what is your motivation? What keeps you going? What makes you enthusiastic to get up every day and go to work despite all of this? Leave a comment below so we can share those ideas and we can talk about it. And also, if you're not into healthcare yet and you're watching this and thinking, oh my gosh, should I go clinical, non-clinical? What are you leaning towards? Are you thinking clinical or non-clinical? Leave a comment below. And if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button right now. If you're enjoying the content, like the video. It just lets me know that you're enjoying content like this. It motivates me to do more as well, and then I can bring all the vibes to you. One more thing is career prospects. Career prospects. So is it easy to get into healthcare with regards to clinical or non-clinical? Now, that is another topic. So if you want to become a nurse, for example, you need to do 2,300 hours of placements. That's, actual working in a hospital or wherever. 2,300 hours unpaid. You need to do 2,300 hours of theory, and then excluding the time that you spend alone studying in your own time, you need to do all of that to become a nurse. If you're overseas, you need to write ART, OET, CBT, OSCE, the whole shebang before you can become a nurse. If you want to become a doctor, you need to go to medical school in the UK. It's 5 years. If you're a home student, you're going to be paying just over 9,000. If you're an overseas student studying medicine in the UK, school fees are over £37,000 per year in many of the universities. So you can already see the differences if you're trying to become clinical. But many of the non-clinical jobs, even though they are better paid, you don't need any degree to get into them, which is what I find really fascinating. You can just walk into there, get an IT job, like I was saying. You do a simple course for like 3 months. There are courses that people are doing for 3 months and getting jobs in IT for £40,000. And I'm like, really? Is this for real? But again, that's something that I thought I should let you know. Because if you're not yet in this profession, at least you have that time to look into all of this information and see for yourself. Because look, that's what I'm telling you, so that you are aware. So the barriers to getting into the clinical positions are a lot higher. Many of the clinical jobs require some sort of extensive training, some sort of registration, lots of qualifications before you can do them, because you're having that direct patient contact. So, there's more like, oh, we need to get the right people here. But for the non-clinical jobs, there's not really much. Many of them you can just walk into a good position where you're earning a lot of money, and that is it. And talking about non-clinical jobs, in my private coaching program, I've got this lady, that contacted me about her daughter, and she wanted her daughter to study nursing because the lady herself had always wanted to study nursing, a lady from the Caribbean. And the daughter was like 21. She said, oh, mommy, no, I don't want to do nursing. It's not for me. She found my post on Facebook about my private coaching program, contacted me. Eventually, the daughter joined the program, and I said to the daughter, yes, you don't want nursing, but I'm going to come up with an idea. Let's get you in a non-clinical job so that you're still in a hospital environment to have an idea of what it's like. And then from there, you can decide, do you want to do nursing or not. So, do you know what happened? We got her a job as a bed coordinator, band 6, earning £32,000 for a 21-year-old, no experience, no qualifications, nothing at all. And I was sat there thinking, look, as a nurse, I started my career earning £21,000 per year. That's how much I was earning as a nurse. £21,000. That's how I started. But for non-clinical jobs, you can literally walk into a job and earn £40,000 from no experience, no qualifications, no knowledge of it, nothing. So if I'm telling you this, you want to check out those jobs. They're on NHS jobs. Check them out. You'll see what I'm talking about. Look at the pay. Check out nursing, medicine, non-clinical positions. They're all gonna come out for you to see. So that's why I'm bringing this info to you so that you're aware of all these differences. So this girl now, she's working, she's still part of the program now. We're just supporting her to grow in the role. Obviously, she's no longer going to be doing nursing. Her mom's place, she's happy, everybody's satisfied. And I'm like, oh my God, well done, girl. So this is what you can get with non-clinical jobs. So again, you can see the differences, how they are. You can see the advantages, and the disadvantages of each one. But I just want you to make a more informed decision of, what is it exactly that you want to do. So these are 4 very important points that we've now discussed. We've talked about flexibility, we've talked about the role, we've talked about the working hours, we've talked about the work from home, career prospects. Which one do you think is best for you? Which are you kind of leaning towards? Because the fact that if you've got children and you're struggling with childcare, if you have a clinical position and they're starting at 7 o'clock and the nursery doesn't start until 8, where do you keep your child? Your childcare costs are going to be higher, and the inconvenience for you and your children is going to be more, because not only do you need to take your children to a childminder, for example, but you also need to make sure you're paying somebody to pick the children from school, take them home, and it's just so much inconvenience. But with the people that have those non-clinical jobs, all they need to do is wake up at 9 o'clock, get your children ready, take them to school, then come to work. Finish work, go home. But let me tell you something. You can have a clinical position, for example, you're a nurse, but there are other positions also within nursing that you can progress into that enables you to have better working hours. And this is what I'm really passionate about, career progression, to make sure that you're not just ending wherever you're starting. You don't want to end where you're starting, if you get what that means. You want to make sure that you're progressing. You want to make sure that you're excelling, you're thriving. You're making, no matter how small the baby steps are, but you're improving yourself. Because self-improvement, there's nothing more important in life than that. So if you are already in healthcare right now, you're already in a clinical position, yes, if you join my private coaching program, I can support you to get those jobs that are going to make you have those advantages that the non-clinical jobs have. Because you're going to be working, you want to work night shifts. If you don't want nights, if you've got kids, you don't need to work weekends. If you don't want to work weekends, there are certain jobs as well that you have all the school holidays off. You only work during term time. So, because you need to adapt these jobs to your lifestyle, otherwise it's very stressful. And this leads us beautifully to point number 5, stress levels. Which of these jobs is more stressful? Look, truth be told, there's no job that is perfect 100%. Every job has its own, little niggly inconveniences. And whether you're in healthcare or you're in another industry or you're clinical, non-clinical, every job has its challenges. We must acknowledge that. But being a nurse practitioner now, when I go to my side of the hospital, which is all clinical, and there's all chaos going on there, buzzers everywhere, cardiac arrest, and people going up and down, no staff, people complaining, moaning, and all of that. And then you walk into the non-clinical side. It's like you see people in corridors chatting, having cups of tea, discussing with each other, chilling out. I'm like, what's going on here? Are you in the same hospital? Because where I'm coming from, that's the dark side. So again, this is one thing that I've noticed. When you go to those offices, where people are with the non-clinical staff, have you seen the environment? They're so chilled. They've got these nice fancy kettles. They're making cups of tea. They've got their cups, they wash the cups and they do the tea. They have special teas and this and that. And I'm like, we've not even had a cup of water to drink all day on the ward. So again, this is another thing I've noticed. Clinical, you're always going to be under pressure 24/7. Every single time you're under immense pressure. But when you look at the non-clinical staff, because what they're dealing with is urgent, but to be honest, nobody's going to die right now if you don't complete a report today. So that job is very, very different. The impact that they have in healthcare, it's a lot because, if you're doing data, you're word click, you're doing admin, It's very important. But actually, if you're a nurse, you're a carer, you're a doctor, the role that you have has huge consequences for those patients. And so it's more stressful. We are more under pressure. Yes, every job has its own challenges, but please, you cannot tell me that the challenges that we have with the clinical jobs are the same or worse than those that the non-clinical staff have, because it's a huge difference. Like I say, when I walk around the corridor, and I go upstairs, because the way I work right now, we have a building completely separate from the hospital where the non-clinical staff are based. And when you go there, like I say, it's very chilled. There's no buzzers, there's no chaos. There's just calm, people laughing in various places. And I'm like, what's going on here? So it's like you're living from chaos, from a tsunami happening, and you're walking into peace, you're walking into grace, you're walking into tranquility, and you're just walking into this, this peace that is like, oh, I'm so glad to be here. And then they'll say to you, Melvis, can you sit down and have a cup of tea? You say, oh, I haven't been able to have a drink all day today, and they're like, oh, just get one before you go to the crazy side. And then you laugh about it. So these are some of the differences that I'm saying. Again, I'm not saying choose one over the other. I'm not saying choose X over Y, but I'm saying that these are my own observations. These are the things that I have noticed. And like I say, I have a private coaching program where I support people. So I have people who are doing both clinical, non-clinical jobs. I can see the career progression prospects that both people have. I can see how long it takes a nurse from band 5 to progress over to band 6, band 7. And look, many of us nurses will never actually progress beyond band 5, because it is what it is. You need to be so tough. You need to do a lot that you're doing, and that's why if you're watching this channel, please, you should be progressing, you should be excelling, you should be, succeeding, because that's why I'm giving you all these tips. If you haven't subscribed till now, I don't know what you're waiting for. Hit subscribe, turn on that notification button, because you want to be the first to be notified every single day when I drop a new video on here at 8 a.m. 8 o'clock, that's my time. I make sure that the video is dropping, because I want you to know what you need to know. That's why I'm bringing it real. I'm keeping it all real, And again, I'm a nurse myself. I work as an advanced nurse practitioner. So I'm saying this from experience. I'm saying all of this from experience, because stress levels, when you're clinical, it is completely different from if you're non-clinical. Yes, every job has its pros and cons, but there are some that are just like, oh my goodness, this is quite a lot, So you need to think about those things when you're making those choices. Again, share this video with your friends, your colleagues, your family, so that they too can benefit from this information, because many people are always struggling with, oh my God, what can I do? What should I get into? And I'm going to be doing separate videos as well on the opportunities for IT, in the IT industry. There's something that many people are asking, IT in healthcare. What can I do? What is there? What are the requirements? I'm going to do that. And if you're thinking about these healthcare jobs, whether clinical, non-clinical, check NHS jobs, the National Health Service, they have loads of jobs on there. They're always recruiting, So just put your application in. If you need that support, you need extra support from me, then you need to join my private coaching program. And that's where I'm able to take the time that is needed to support you in a way that is personalized, that is tailored to your needs, so that not only do you excel and thrive, but actually you gain the clarity that you need, take away that confusion, procrastination, and be able to keep moving forward. Because look, procrastination, there's no place for it on here. If you're watching my videos, there's no room for procrastination. So leave a comment below and say, Melvis, I will implement. And when you do implement, I want you to come back here and say the outcome. Have you applied for jobs? Have you had an interview? How has the interview been? What did they ask you? How did they find that? How did you find the actual interview? Yes, if you want non-clinical jobs, what are you considering? If you're already a nurse or a carer and you want to move towards the non-clinical jobs, again, I can support you with all of that. Because as long as you're working and you have the will, you can change careers anytime. There's nothing like saying, oh, you've done this, it's a done deal. It's never going to be a done deal. You need to keep on progressing. Life is a dynamic thing. And as human beings, we keep improving, we keep changing. It is what it is, and that is normal. That's part and parcel of life. You don't need to feel bad. But if you're a clinical person like me, I'm very clinical. I completely enjoy nursing. I love the job that I have working as a nurse practitioner, the team, So for me, I'm a clinical girl, despite everything that I know about the jobs. But what I've done is just to progress in my career so that I can get to that stage where I have the advantages that the non-clinical staff have, but I still have the patient contact, which I totally enjoy. That's the difference. So you can still have both, and having both is the ideal scenario if you're somebody who likes patient care or who is already in a clinical position now. Because if you progress higher, you get to have the flexibility, you get to have a little bit of work-life balance, you get to have the ability to work from home as well, and obviously in terms of career prospects, you can grow really, really high. So these are the 6 reasons that we've spoken about, the 6 main differences between the two, so that you can make a more informed decision. And I hope that you found this helpful, useful. Again, if you have, like the video, because it just lets me know that you enjoy the content and I should do more videos like this. So keep watching. There's a video that I've done actually about the highest paying non-clinical healthcare jobs in the UK. And look, you can earn in excess of £32,000, like I've said, with zero experience, zero knowledge of that job. But all you need is just that success through the interview and the will to be able to learn and the will to keep on working and thriving. So keep watching the videos. I appreciate your time that you watched till now. Thank you so much. Keep watching the video.